Well, shout out to Brutal Mafia, Missy Adamson. Um, I actually thought I was live. So, what we're doing is we're just going to wait for my buddy, Sam Hill, and we're going to have what one would call the hour of power. How about that? Yeah, yeah, that's right. All right, fuck this shit. Just put this right here. All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right, you guys. I'm sorry. Am I live? Am I live? Yeah. Um, I had to carry some carpet in Fritz's backyard, and then so I set down my phone, and I came back, and the screen wasn't on. Now all I need is for Sam Hill to come up here. Andy, shout out to Andy, Brandon. Boy, I'll tell you what, this wind is blowing like a mother. Whoa. Okay. Dear God, don't step on that forked toe. I wish I saw a forked toe. Sam Hill, come out, wherever you are. Come on, 5 minutes, you guys. Give him 5 minutes. You know, people. Sometimes shit comes up. So, I did buy 2 new rakes this year. I bought this forged, steel forged, and then this little guy is so cool because you're like this. You watch this, so this, bam, and then you can make it big like that, or you can make it small like that. Yeah. I do not want to clean this fucking place up. Hey, did I see some? I saw some scissors. I know there's fucking scissors in here. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. Hey, what the fuck? Holy shit! I don't know what the fuck this is. It's got to be an Amazon thing. Pampered Chef, yeah, Amazon. There's Sam. Where's Sam? Sam's here. Oh, hi, Sam. Oh, I'm sorry, Sam. Um, okay. I'm coming. I'm coming, Sam. How come? Private chat. Yes. Um. Hi, Sam.
Hello, Frank.
How are you?
Good.
Good. It's just the two of us. Yeah, we can make it if we try. Just the two of us,
I'm still trying to make it.
you and I. So,
Getting to the make it part
I went
is
ahead.
hard.
I went ahead and took out the stump from the tree that blew over last year, and I cleaned out the pond, and I've got a little That little flower. Uh-oh.
Conversation 1.
Conversation what?
I proposed a series of conversation, and here we are,
Yes.
1 hour or under.
Mhm.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's go back to the beginning, how I know you.
Okay.
I think the first time I saw you was you were standing next to Carla Kitty.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Wow, pretty interesting man. I wonder who you are."
Well, that only lasted 3 weeks.
Then the next time I remember, and maybe you can help me here, is I'm yelling. Oh, you're yelling on the Matt Stern show at this very pretty lady named Jarvita, and I said, "Well, I'm not going to let you yell at her." And I phoned up and I started yelling at you. What is your first memory?
My first memory of you was probably, oh hell, when it's kind of when Ross had threatened to kill you.
Which time? I remember him getting weird. I was in Hostbusters Discord, and he started for some reason saying he was going to turn up at my door with you, and the two of you were going to murder me.
You know, he wasn't even a genuine person in the first place.
No, he wasn't.
It really makes me, it makes me very uncomfortable because I was friends with this guy, and it was all a facade.
And a difficult part of this medium is one knows somebody pretty quick, and they don't. As proven by because he said he was my friend too, and I had the experience of knowing him when he had 4 other viewers, and I got involved with a guy I thought was a good guy and wasn't. Are you going to pay attention to me, sir?
Yeah. One thing I did do, and you probably aren't going to agree with this, but remember the NASA sweatshirt that I had?
No.
All right. I had a really cool NASA sweatshirt.
Oh, okay.
Right. I bought another one, a brand new one, and it was large. The one that I had was medium. I sent it to producer Jay.
My first co-host, by the way.
Yeah.
Of my first show for RDA. Mm-hmm.
And then Ross got angry with me, so Jay went ahead and.
Why did he get angry at you?
Why did Ross?
Mm-hmm.
Because I put him in his place.
Well, what happened?
He was just irritating me, saying that I was doxing him, and I didn't. Okay. So I went ahead and I did. I didn't. I gave the information to a friend.
I'm confused about the timeline because I'm talking about when I interacted with you after Jarba I was seeing that I can remember, you were showing up in the same chat I was at Hostbusters, and you were threatening me with Ross.
No, I wasn't, Sam.
Oh, good point. He was using you as like a conspirator, saying that he was going to kill me, and you and him were going to show up at my door, and you were going dark too. You would. I remember you showing up at Lemonades, and you would ingratiate, and then you'd start banning a bunch of people with your wrench, getting carried away.
No, never.
Yeah,
On my
yeah.
kids' lives.
No, don't.
Why?
In
No,
our
no, no, no,
series
no,
of
no, no, no.
conversations, don't say that.
Look, Sam. I never banned anybody on her fucking stream, on her live stream. But God is my witness, and
No,
Jesus
don't
Christ
you
is my
don't
father.
make all these promises.
I'm not promising you. All I'm saying is I never. All right, fine. Just fucking. We'll go with it that I banned people.
Well, don't go with in these conversations. I don't want you to go with it. We can disagree for the moment, correct?
Well,
That's
yeah.
all. Okay.
But the thing is, Sam, I know I didn't ban anybody, and in order
Okay.
for me to ban somebody, for you would have to see me ban them.
Okay. Well, you would talk about being bipolar, and knowing you, I've always said you could be the greatest friend, and on the other end, a really bad person. I've always said that, and I believe it. And I always ascribe
That's
drugs to
Cynthia.
that. Oh, we have a history with Cynthia, don't we?
Yeah,
Or is that
Cynthia.
Sin? No,
Cynthia.
Sin is a different person.
Okay, good.
She's a friend of Shaw.
Okay. Do
Great
you
person,
remember
by the
when
way.
she sent me the candles for my daughter?
Okay, let's discriminate here. That Sin is a friend of Shaw. We're talking about Cynthia, a loyal person of RD8 or Ross Dog. And I would talk to Cynthia, and I broke with Cynthia when she would not call out Ross when Ross made a rape comment about my wife. That's the Cynthia we're talking about, not Sin. What happened was Sin. We're really not going back to the in sequence, but at one point, Frank sent, I assumed was a package of marijuana or something, and Cynthia said Frank made a mistake, and the camera caught her address.
No. I sent marijuana to Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia sent me soap for my daughters.
Okay.
And she didn't put the correct return address.
Oh, okay. But regardless, an address was shown that Cynthia said she was
my
upset
address.
about.
My address was shown.
Okay.
I can pull it up in Discord.
No, I believe that. You don't need to pull it up. It makes sense. I think you made a mistake sending anybody marijuana.
Why?
Which I told you. Why? Because I don't think it's legal to do that.
Sam, it's also illegal to run stop signs, and people do that.
Well, I don't. And if I do, I accept responsibility.
Yeah, and the responsibility would be, oops, I ran a stop sign.
It could be if a police officer came and gave me a ticket. But folks, a couple of people listening or whomever, we're very different people, Frank and I, and that might be one of the interesting things if you choose to follow us. If we continue, I proposed we have a serious conversation evolving, if we could, an hour a day, because Frank is, to me, a different person than he portrays here. He's a much more serious person. Whereas with Frank, I've told you I have problems because I think you present yourself as a buffoon and a druggie. And that's not the Frank I know. Frank used to come on this show called Busters, and we'd be talking for hours in the middle of the night about all kinds of things, not drugs. not butt plugs up your butt. And this is a show finally we're doing after 3 years. Now, one of the things I said to you, Frank, is I'm going to do my serious, but in chat, if there's disrespect, not disagreement, you don't have to like me, but I see a Mr. Earls 2 saying Sam is a bootlicker. So if you agree to these series of conversations, you give this man one warning and then he's gone or I'm
I was
gone.
going to say something to him.
Say it
Brandon,
now. Let's
please,
establish the boundaries.
for just for the stream, if we could refrain from negative talk.
Or come on air. I don't want anyone else. But if you're going to disrespect me, motherfucker, then come on air and go at me. Or you're a coward. But I don't want to have to deal with people like this because it gets us off our conversation. And if you made an agreement with me.
Don't read the chat.
No, that's not the agreement. That's not the agreement. So we're setting boundaries. If you want to have this series of conversation, the least you can do is get rid of these people who are slime. I'm no bootlicker. I took on a group for years, me against them. But the purpose, now they can disagree with me, right? They don't have to like me and I'll even address them. But this is just a slime, which I can't tolerate if we're going to have serious conversations. But it's your choice, Frank.
No, I agree with you.
Okay, so tell this man, you do it again, and he's gone. I assume it's a man. Most trolls are men.
I did.
Good. So we can continue.
How come I can't post the link?
Look who you're talking to, Mr. Tech Dummy. Now, Mr. Earls did it again. So this is interesting. You need to remove him. You gave him a warning, or I need to leave. So you make that call.
God damn it. All right, I'm going to take away.
Again. No, there's nothing to it. Either Brandon, you remove him or I go.
Okay, Sam, I will. Give me a second. I'm on my phone. I have to switch out of this.
We're establishing boundaries that will enable Frank and I to have a serious conversation, not dealing with slime buckets who will state anything in chat but not come on air. It's basically just Frank and I having a conversation. But if I challenge somebody like this slime bucket, that's different. But he won't come up. Who's the bootlicker? Mr. Earls 2, an alt. Because I have accumulated fighting this group for years, opposition. But I'm not here to fight. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight Frank. I will deal with you, but not if you cross a boundary. Bring up something real, which this man did not do. He just wants to get attention, which he got, but now he needs to go. And I'm establishing boundaries with Frank to make sure Frank keeps to the agreement.
I took his wrench away.
You need to remove him.
One thing at a time.
Okay. Our agreement was,
I know
he had a warning and he did it again. So it's not a wrench. It's removing him or I discontinue per our agreement.
Oh my God, Brandon, fuck me.
Well, come up and tell me to my face then. You should give him a link. And this would be interesting. He wants a link. Because I don't back away from slime. See, this will be very interesting because we're two interesting people and we've lived a life. We have a history. We've called ourselves Frank and I friends. and then not. And chat, I respect the chat, and I called you out because of your slime comment. You want the link, so I would ask Frank to give you the link, and I'll deal with you. And if it takes a while, that's okay. 1 hour with Frank would be good. And it's not about views. If it was about views, I'd say come on my channel. Or if I wanted to gain, because my channel's bigger now. But it's not about that. It's about being real. And we've had a life. A lot of people on here come up for money, play a character, have an agenda. The agenda being some groups pick a person and they go after them. My only agenda with Frank is truth. Interesting, huh? For serious people, we won't get a lot of views. If Slime Bucket, Mr. Earl, wants to come up, I'll deal with him. Because the stream should be open too to people from chat. So in this first show, I think is really important to establish a boundary of respect as Frank and I go forward. If I had a channel, made an agreement with Frank, we'll have a channel. If he came on my channel and we had made an agreement saying that we'll deal with chat, but if somebody's obviously a slime, meaning that they just
Brandon,
want...
look in your messenger, Facebook Messenger.
So I'm assuming that's Mr. Earl's.
Yes.
And that'd be fine. That'd be good because I'm open to an evolving conversation with you. And would you like to continue it tomorrow? Because I will stop at the hour.
Yeah.
Would you like to do this tomorrow?
At the hour, we'll stop. And then on the next show, we'll continue where we left off.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I'd like to do it tomorrow, when would you like to do it? And you work and I don't, so you're probably more flexible. I'm more flexible than you are. So what time could you do it?
Can we do it 7 o'clock your time, PM?
Is that? Do you have any other times?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock your time? Because you're central.
Yeah.
So 4 o'clock. That would be good because I have to do something at 3. So there's a natural cutoff for the hour. So let's say 4 o'clock Central Time tomorrow. Right?
Right.
Okay. That would be really good. Okay, we can continue.
Okay. So I take it Brandon's not coming up.
Well, he said he was, and he's now got the link. But
he does.
To put a comment like that, it's just slime. He could have said, I don't like you. Let's talk. But I'm no bootlicker. Ask Frank. Frank was with a group that I fought RDA for years, right, Frank?
Right.
And I was the only one fighting, correct, that you know of, that group for a while?
Right.
And Aggro, this guy from RDA, told me, because we talked a little bit, that if I stopped attacking the group, they would leave me alone, which would help my stream, my channel. And I said, Mr. Earl, no. And I kept fighting them until Rev joined me and German Laney joined me. And at some point, Frank, you had a problem with RDA and you broke with them. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Earls, go ahead.
Sam,
I see you up
thank
there.
you. Sam, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think you misunderstood what I meant by bootlicker. I meant more in the esoteric type, not anything to do with the YouTube groups or drama whatsoever. When you said, "Oh, I don't even run stop signs,"
sounds like bullshit to me.
Sam, let him talk. He's not being mean. He's
Okay, you can
coming
be the
after.
mediator. Be the
He's
mediator.
coming
Go
after.
ahead. Yeah, I am. Well, he
What's
came
the
after me.
mediate, Sam? Those are facts. I bet you're the type that still wears a mask in your car alone, aren't you?
Well, you're a bullshitter. Is that how you're going to spend your
That's a
time?
serious
This is
question.
about. No, it's not.
I
No, it's
seriously
not.
want to know. Do you?
You are a bullshitter. It's not a serious question. You're on the wrong
It
stream
is a
for that.
serious question. It's absolutely a serious question. The whole nation's in a serious situation. If you hadn't noticed,
I think I've had enough of him. The agreement was you and me, and he was in chat, but he's not speaking truth. So I would ask you to remove him.
I'm not speaking truth. You sound just like
Per
a
our
lefty,
agreement.
Sam.
I don't
I
want
bet
to
you voted
waste the
for
time of the
Biden,
bullshitter.
didn't
If he wants to talk real, I'm willing, Frank. So I'll go back to our agreement, you and me, because this man is an idiot.
Oh, I'm an idiot. You won't debate me, but I'm an idiot.
There's
You are
no
a
debate.
complete leftist.
No, I'm actually conservative.
You
No,
asked him
you're
to come
not.
up
There's
here.
nothing conservative. There is
I
nothing
asked him to
conservative
come
about
up here and
being
have
a
a serious
bootlegger wanting to
conversation.
silence
But if
people.
he's going to bullshit, I want to just talk to you.
How is he bullshitting? He hasn't even explained. He said he meant it in an esoteric way, and then you cut him off and you wouldn't let him explain it. If you gave the guy a chance to explain it, maybe you would understand that he wasn't coming off in a bad way.
It's about conversation between you and me. We agreed, right?
Yes,
I
Sam,
said
but
bring
you
him up
invited him.
because he insulted me. Well, was it an invite or to answer him calling me a bootlegger?
No,
And now
you
he's
said if you
bullshitting.
weren't talking
Well, I
shit.
didn't bring him up to talk about politics with him, but to engage with you. If he wants to tell me the truth.
You like to silence people like a lefty and steer the narrative.
Frank, how
Your
did we get
armchair
to
psychology
him
doesn't
calling
work
me a
on
lefty?
anybody,
Come
Sam.
on, Frank. He's a bullshitter. You want me to give this guy time? Why? He doesn't deserve it. He's bullshitting. He knows nothing about my politics, Frank.
Next.
Thank you. I'm willing, but what I want, Frank, what I want is that old Greek thing, a search for the truth. And if he came up here and was truthful and said, well, I don't like you, I would address him. But to move it to politics and smear me with a political tag, he knows nothing about my politics. So he wants to. Bullshit is a good word. I wish I had a different word, but that's what I believe. So I'd rather talk to you. If he was worthy of a conversation, if he came up and said, can we have a political conversation, I'd respect that more than him calling me a lefty, which I'm not.
What is a lefty? What is a lefty?
A lefty, most people, there's a description around political tags, which you know, correct? A lefty is aligned with maybe a politician. I think President Biden could be described as a liberal. Lefty might be even
Democrat. A Democrat.
Well, some people think so. A lefty could be more extreme. It could be a socialist or even a communist, right?
Why?
So I'm no lefty.
I'm not political at all.
Well, we all have viewpoints, but I won't be tagged like my ex co-host calls me a Karen. Well, I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna take on a definition that somebody gives me. If you ask me to self-define myself, I'll tell you. But I think it's weak, folk, to let other people tag you and tell you what you are. And Frank is an individual. I have no tag for you politically. I think you're all over the place, probably like me, like an independent person. I can take a liberal stance, like I believe everybody's entitled to health care. And traditionally in our country, if somebody didn't have a lot of money and they had an illness, they'd go bankrupt. I still think the greatest number of bankruptcies have to do with medical care. Now, maybe traditionally, I don't know, historically, the medical costs were reasonable. I would agree to continue the system. But most of us know who have been in hospitals that it's absurd. I was between insurance. I took my wife into emergency room for a UTI. She was in pain. 5 minutes with the doctor and got a bill of $1,600. So on that, I think everyone's entitled to medical care because it's not a choice. But then I'm against abortion, which is the center of conservative thought. So I do define myself as independent. And if Frank and I get into politics, I'll tell him true what I am. I won't call him a bootlicker regardless. That's an insult. And the man had a chance, come on, and explain why obviously calling somebody a bootlicker is not a nice term. So he was bullshitting.
Sam.
What?
That's kind of a bootlicker is not a huge put down.
Really?
I don't even know what a bootlicker is, Sam.
It's a term for a weak man or weak woman. It's somebody, metaphoric. Well, literally, they lick boots, but it's saying that you kiss, again, figuratively, the ass, or you do what somebody tells you. And Frank, I'm the opposite of that, correct?
Right.
And you are too. I've told you many things, and I don't think you ever listened.
I do,
right?
Sam.
Okay, let's continue on because I do like the idea of an hour with you. And can we go back to where we met?
Yeah.
So Frank and I have been friends, and then I would get affronted, mainly because he aligned himself with the group that I fought very hard. And this Wazzy Doggy is the leader of RDA, and he definitely has focused on me, obsessed on me, according to this guy Pete Ard. Do you know Pete?
Yeah.
And Pete said that Wazzy Doggy told him that I worship this man. And it's absurd because the only person I hate, Frank, and I hate that he made me hate, really, is Wazzy Doggy, because he slandered me by framing and making up a tape, a recording of me that wasn't true.
Well, he did a lot to me and my family and my daughter, but I don't hate him. I just don't care for him.
Well, I used to say that, but honestly, after a man frames one in the most vile way, that rises above just talking on air. And most people are good. I assume there's going to be people in chat who don't like me, but give me a chance and then make your judgment. That's what I ask, if you can do that. Don't call me a brown shirt. So now this man, are you going to remove him? He just called me a brown shirt. So I guess we'll see if we continue this series because he just broke our agreement.
All right.
A brown shirt is a Nazi, by the way.
Brandon, why do you do this? Why do you have to stress me out? All right.
It's not stress. It's black or white. Make your call, Frank.
I just did, Sam.
Keep the agreement or not.
I did, Sam.
Okay. And this is a good test because in order for us to continue, I have to respect Frank and he has to respect me, and we meet in agreement. But take it from my point of view. If you're one of the couple that are listening, and hopefully we can provide value and we'll get more people wanting to come in. The people will have a serious conversation. Frank is
Brandon is.
I don't want to talk about him anymore.
I know.
I really don't.
But I just want to let you know that he's probably one of my best extreme friends.
Okay.
So
and this is only 1 hour. And
I know.
And Wazzy Dog used to be your best friend, right? He used to be one, and Reb used to be my good friend. So we could talk about what I want, folk and Frank, is a real discussion. And in real life, we have best friends, and then I did not. I assume it's true for you. There's the issue of what is a real friend. And on here, it's very rare.
Yeah.
So
There
talk to
aren't.
him
I
off
don't
the
think
show.
a real friend would be Claire. Claire Bear to me is a real friend.
Good. There you go. And bring them back. It's just for the purposes. I noticed you called it Frank and Sam, and I proposed Sam and Frank, but I don't care.
Did I say?
No,
I thought I said Sam and Frank.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I folks, one of the cool things about streaming is you can come back after years and do what you wanted to do. So I want to do a show with Frank for how long? 2-3 years?
4.
A long time. We go back over 4 years basically, and here we are. So it's kind of cool. We always in the last couple months said let's do a show, and here it is. And I like the idea of a show. It doesn't take too much time, and the day before I'll schedule tomorrow. So like maybe Frank and I can only do it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're very flexible, and I like that. And we'll get absurd because we've done that before. But right
Sam, if you
now,
want, I can share my StreamYards with you.
no, it's your channel. And people can get in trouble with that. I do not recommend doing that. Poon Handler gave his the code to his friend, and his friend struck Wendy. So I don't recommend sharing codes, right?
Okay.
It's honestly on your channel, and that's
Well,
also a
StreamYards
demonstration.
has nothing to do with my channel.
StreamYards,
is
YouTube channel.
It's an alternate streaming thing. You can use StreamYards and stream on Facebook.
Yeah, and different sites. If you go on StreamYard and it's free, it will give you a choice of where to stream from. But I'm on YouTube. I wish I could go other places because it's a monopoly, and I don't like some of the things YouTube does. But practically, this is where most people go. So here I am. Why are you calling yourself Thambopolis? What's that about?
Thermopolis.
Is it some Greek thing?
Thermopolis is the guy in the movie with Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
He was the big businessman.
Which movie?
Beverly Hills Cops.
Oh, I love that movie with it's an old movie I saw on TV with that other actor. I forgot his name. It was Eddie Murphy.
He went to school in Omaha.
What's the name of the actor?
Nick Nolte.
And Nick played football for Pasadena too. By the way, Nick Nolte, wonderful actor. Older man now. But yeah, he Beverly Hills Cop was a pairing of opposites. This fast talker Eddie Murphy, great in it, and this kind of knockabout rough cop. But Frank, it's like the first. Usually, the first movie is great, and they try a replay and it don't work, and that happened with Beverly Hills Cop. The only exception might be The Godfather. Godfather 2 was a great movie too. Most repeats or sequels don't work, do they? Star Wars was an exception too, I guess. Are you still there, Frank? Part of the agreement has to be you have to be willing to give the time. So if you go off, that's not a good thing. Then I'm just talking to myself, which I do too much anyway. It's called thinking. So if you can't give me your time, I need to go off. I'll give you a minute. That idea is, Frank is frozen? That's different, right? I'm kind of
I'm not frozen.
Then I need your attention. If you can't be here,
I do give you my attention. Just because I'm picking up twigs doesn't mean that I'm not listening to you.
Well, let's tomorrow. Hopefully, you're not picking up anything but my voice.
God, Sam, I'd hate to be your fucking wife.
Well, you never be my wife.
Well,
I'm going
it's
for
good too.
friend. You're not wife material. Don't worry. And Frank and I have had a lot of experience with women, real life. Yeah, up and down, right?
Yeah.
And I've been fooled. I had a wife who said she was going to have my baby, and I married her, and then she had a miscarriage, and I felt bad. And we still were married, even though she turned out to be a rageaholic. And then I found out she made the whole thing up. So I've been fooled by women, and I assume you have too, Frank.
Yeah.
And that's part of the richness of a conversation, because we share certain things. Like, I think I've been divorced, and you've been divorced too, right?
Yep.
And we have a richer part of our lives that we share. We both have children. So we're very different in some ways, but we're very much alike. I've had trouble with my father, and you said on there you've had trouble with your mom.
Yeah.
So we share some things, for sure. And we have differences. We're both kind of educated. Frank did you know I went to prep school too, Frank?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I didn't used to talk about that a lot. I didn't want to come across some snooty person, but I'm not the elite, but I was around these children of multimillionaires and billionaires, and the rich are different. They're different. And people come up with the conspiracies, but a lot of these people are out in the open. They're billionaires, heads of companies, and they have their meetings in private. But most people can find out who they are. They lead quiet lives, the super wealthy. And then sometimes the bourgeoisie, or ones who haven't been wealthy, become wealthy. They're taken down. They're extremely corrupt. Like, who's that pervert guy who died in prison? Not Einstein, Epstein. Epstein. And so I've been around wealthy people. My mom's pretty well off, but she's not super wealthy. And Frank's father, do you all know his fascinating story that Frank told when his father grew up without shoes? He was that poor. Hard to imagine, right? But after World War II, Italy was so barren and poor. And there's pictures of people without arms and legs begging on the streets of Rome, right after the
1943.
war. 43?
That's when he was born.
So the war ended in what, 48?
I thought it was 44.
No, I don't believe so. I'm not good with dates. I'm terrible with dates.
I'm not good with history.
I'm fairly okay with history, but not timelines and dates. But let's say it's 48. So he was 5 years old, and after the war, Italy knew such poverty, and people begged. A lot of beggars. I've seen pictures, but the story is so American. And maybe Frank has told the story.
No.
I love your stories, your true story. That he rose from a boy without shoes to become a millionaire in America. What drive, huh?
Well, I don't know if it's drive or if it's stupidity and stubbornness.
Well, it's success. So how could it be stupidity?
Well, see, Sam, he possibly didn't do any of it on his own. He listened to his dad. So he did what his dad told him to do.
Right.
If he didn't have his dad, he wouldn't be in this position. He'd probably still be in Italy.
Right. But Frank, he put in the time and he put in the application. Both of us had fathers we didn't listen to, but he did. Listening is so hard. One of the hardest things. When I was going to become a therapist, and some prop told me the hardest part is listening, and just even on these shows, it is the hardest part, right? To listen for me. But what his story? So he listened to his father. He had to put in the time and work, right?
Yeah.
Remarkable.
What he did back in the 70s, up until he retired, was he sold plastic bottles.
Wow.
Anything that was packaged in glass or plastic went through his warehouse.
Wow.
The popcorn tins, the 5-gallon popcorn tins, those were in his warehouse. The Subi Honey Bear, that was in his warehouse. 55-gallon drums, 10-gallon drums. He would go to the manufacturer. He would put the specifications out for his customer. He would bring the stuff to his warehouse because they didn't have large enough warehouses, and then they would pull the product as they needed it. And his biggest customer, Pfizer.
Wow.
Yep.
Now one of the largest companies in the world, pharmaceutical.
And it was one of his biggest. It brought in half of his business. And nobody wanted it when it was a little teeny company in the 70s. Nobody wanted Pfizer. Right. My dad said, I'll take it.
Wow. But from such things, fortunes can abound. Like waste products or waste or garbage is not like banking, and it seems cool. But from it, fortunes can be made.
From your garbage?
It's not like if one thinks grown up, they're not probably going to think, oh, I'm going to make money from garbage. They're probably thinking, I'll make money from selling stocks or some great things. But my point is that fortunes can be made from things that people don't think are glamorous.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with it. They want the super cool stuff.
For example, owning a crematorium.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a lot of money doing that. Not the funnest thing in the world.
Yeah, people deal with death. Even they take advantage because those caskets are way overpriced.
Jesus, I'd never buy something that expensive to bury me in.
But when your father or mother dies or loved one.
Sam? He'll be back. Come on, Sam. Come on, Mr. Sam. Yes.
I don't know what happened, but an hour has gone by and it's been nice. And hopefully we're just getting started. We are great conversationalists, not to be humble. And we're just starting, I hope, Frank, in an hour. And hopefully I talk to you tomorrow at 4 Central.
At 4, correct? My time.
Yes. Thank you so much, Frank.
Yep. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, chat. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.
Bye, Frank. Ciao.
Ciao.